All right. Oh, yo. Welcome to another episode of Fight Bloodline. I'm your host, Cash Money, also known as the Money Moneykin, Cash Money, and Mr. Paper Taker, Mr. Taker Chinny Chin Chin. Bro could not make the show today, but it's fine. We will be on for the live watch along. And who we got? We got my co-host, and let's break down UFC Fight Night: Evila versus Murphy. What fight do you have first, bro? Yeah, that fight is canceled as of right now because Luna Carolina could not make weight. 8 pounds overweight. You got a thing for some food, huh? Yeah, can't make weight. But for that fight, I was going Luna Carolina. She's a dog, like literally, like an underdog, but she's also a beast. But so, what fight do you got? Is it like Chanel Dyer Oliveira? Yeah, Dyer versus Oliveira. Okay, we got a strawweight bout between two chicks. We got Chanel Dyer and Ravina Oliveira. Chanel Dyer is 6-1 in her MMA career, the minus 400 favorite, and 4-1 in her last five. Compared to Ravina Oliveira, she's the 300 dog, 7-3 in her MMA career, 3-2 in her last five. Who we got, bro? Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. Really? It's a she, bro. You're good, bro. You're good, bro. Yeah, I'm also going Chanel Dyer. It's not nothing that has to do with the record, but fighters they win most of their fights when they're in their hometown. Seen this a lot with like Charles Oliveira in Brazil. Seen this Leon Edwards in London many years ago. Seen this John Jones in New York City. And yeah, I think Chanel Dyer is just the better fighter here. She's gonna pick Rabina Oliveira apart, and I believe she'll get the win by the distance. She'll end up getting the decision. Yeah. But don't expect a high output fight. It's not gonna be nothing crazy. But I'm not gonna be totally disappointed. Okay, well, we got for our next fight, we got a lightweight bout between Shaquem Rock and Abdul Karim Al Swadaway. Shaquem Rock is 12-2 in his MMA career, the 120 dog, and 4-1 in his last five. For Abdul Karim Al Swadaway, the minus 140 favorite, 15-4 and 4-1 in his last five. Who we got, bro? Oh, going another underdog. Let's keep coming, yeah. I could see that happening. Besides, I disagree. I think Shaquem Rock's really good. He's a little bit older, so he's got a little bit more like how would you put it, like a more of a veteran's look into this fight. And but give me the young, give me the favorite on this one. Give me Abdul Karim Al Swadale. He was actually on the first card that we ever did for UC 318 Holloway versus Poirier. He was on that card. I remember that. But yeah, give me Al Swadale. I think he's gonna get it done on the ground. I think his wrestling's improved a lot from his last fight. He's not slacking off anymore. His cardio's gotten a lot better. And Shaquem Rock's looking for like a big everybody's expecting him to do really good this fight, but I personally disagree. I think freaking Al Sweety's is better aspect of the game on the ground, and he's gonna utilize his wrestling and either get the fight by submission or decision. Could be, could be. Yeah, we're trying to get through these prelims. We have a long card. I want to answer some questions in the chat before we get to the next fight. We got a question. All right, let's start with the classic. If Derek Lewis's balls are too hot in the octagon, what exactly is the scientific cooling protocol there? Y'all seen it? It says, let's start. Yeah, this is dude put in. Let's start with the classic. If Derek Lewis's balls are too hot in the octagon, what exactly is the scientific cooling protocol there? I mean, we see him do it every time. Just takes off the pants, swings some things around, throws them in the crowd. I feel like that's his personal cooling method. What? It's a crazy question. Who is the only heavyweight who could lose a fight, eat a shoe full of beer, and still leave the arena as the most popular man in the building? Tied to Avasa. Y'all burning him, bro. Get it? You get it? Okay, we'll do one more, and then we'll move on to the final. Next, the fight. See if there's a good one. On a scale of one to I'm not impressed. How much did Nate Diaz actually care about his UFC contract? I mean, I feel like he cared about it. He made a bunch of money from the UFC. He made a bunch of money from Conor McGregor. And they had their couple fights. It's Nate. Yeah. Okay, we're moving on to the next fight. We got a heavyweight bout between Louis Sutherland and Brandon Peresi. I believe is how you say his name. Pericic. Brandon Pericic. Louis Sutherland he's 10-4 in his MMA career. The 220 dog and 4-1 in his last five. We're to Brandon Piercic, the 260 favorite, 5-1 in his MMA career and 4-1 in his last five. What we got, bro? Yeah. Yeah, me too. I feel like Louis Sutherland's really good, but this dude's more up and coming. He's a little bit younger. He's more of a dog. He wants to win more. And yeah, yeah, he's quick too for being a big guy. He's almost like a Walter Cortez Acosta. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't count Louis Sutherland out. Like any heavyweight fight, man, anything could happen. It just takes one punch. Yeah. Me personally, I hate it. I'm not a fan of it at all. Like honestly, it's one of the worst divisions of the UFC right now. Like it's not even a crazy hot take, But hate the division right now. Hopefully they can fix it here soon. Well, Cortez, Volkov got their fight coming up. But we got a middleweight bout between Antonio Tricoli versus Mantas Condrat Vinicius. Condrat Vinicius. Tricoli yeah, this dude's name's like weird. But, yeah, bro, it doesn't even fit on my TV. Yeah, we're gonna call him Montage. Okay, so yeah, we got Antonio Tricoli. Tricoli, he is 12-6 in his MMA career, the 400 dog, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw in his last five. For the Montas, he's the 550 favorite, 8-1 in his MMA career and 4-1 in his last five. Fortunately, I'll go with Montas on this one by KO, TKO, or decision. You know, I feel like his striking's really good. He's way younger, and they're just feeding Trolloki to this dude just so he could get flipping like known and yeah, you can't go wrong with the decision there. You know, anything could happen. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We got another heavyweight bout between. This is one of my favorite fighters right now in the UFC. I think he's hilarious and also a really good fighter. But we got Mario Pinto, 11-0, never lost a fight in his MMA career. The -600 favorite and 5-0 in his last five. Compared to Felipe Franco, the 425 dog, 10-1 in his MMA career and 4-1 in his last five. And he is also making his UFC debut tonight. Who we got? They're crazy, bro. Give me Pinto by a decision, bro. He's gonna go in there and fuck this guy up, bro. Watch. Watch. Mario Pinto is a lot longer. He's also bigger. And Mario Pinto is a dog. He'll go to war and get that win. Tell you, Pinto has quicker hands, more punch power, and he's just a beast in general. He's making his UFC debut against a monster, bro. It's not gonna be fair. Yeah, moving on next. We have a really good prospect from a different sport coming into the UFC. We got a featherweight bout between Nathaniel Wood and Lucina Quinta. Nathaniel Wood is 22-6 in his MMA career, the 145 dog, and 4-1 in his last five. Compared to Lucini Quinta, he's the 170 favorite, 16-1 in his MMA career, 5-0 in his last five. Fighting out of Germany, your hometown, bro. And Quinta actually had a fight booked earlier this year in August. That fight had gotten canceled, and then he did it again. Sometime I think maybe like a month or two after he had a fight that also got canceled. But he is a dog. He's gonna go in there, dog walk Nathaniel Wood. Give me Quinta by KO. He's got like the really. If you look at his old highlights from his other organization, he is really, really good. And we've seen Keaton's got really quick hands. And he's just got weird type of power to where he barely touches you. Like he'll hit you, not even like a good clean cross, but he'll just tap you in the chin, bro, and you eventually go out. And Keaton's a dog. Dog. You're crazy, bro. Lucien Keaton's. I mean, Nathaniel Wood's tough, and he's also fighting in his hometown. This fool's a murderer, and you're gonna see, bro. I can't wait. Next fight, we got another lightweight bout between Mason the Dragon Jones versus Axel Sola. Mason Jones is 17-2 in his MMA career, the 130 favorite, and 5-0 in his last five, coming off a crazy win his last fight. And then we got Axel Sola, the 110 dog, 11-0 in his MMA career, four wins and one draw in his last five, or one no contest. I actually believe that was. What we got, bro? Yeah, me too. I also took Mason Jones by KO TKO. He's just got heavier hands. He's almost like a Anthony Hernandez type of style, where he just walks forwards. He can box. He can also lay down with the wrestling. He's really strong. He's got a good heart on him. So I think he'll fight to the end, and he'll get it either by decision or KO. All right. We got a featherweight bout between Curtis Campbell and Danny Silva. Curtis Campbell is 8-0 in his MMA career, the 175 favorite, 5-0 in his last five. Compared to Danny Silva, the 150 dog, 10-2 in his MMA career, and 4-1 in his last five. Curtis Campbell is making his UFC debut against the young, great Danny Silva. Who we got, bro? I got Curtis Campbell by TKO. And you know it's funny, Curtis Campbell will be rocking his own custom fight shorts, wearing the pink, almost the same as Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's custom fight kit. Really? Thoughts on the Dana White files? Fuck's that supposed to mean? These fools are crazy, bro. Who is the real GOAT of the 155 division? I believe it's Ilya Taporia. Like of all time, honestly, it's either between Khabib, Islam, Taporia. Like when I think of GOAT, I'm thinking of like all time, like who's gonna beat that guy as of right now. And honestly, right now, I think Taporia knocks out Khabib. I think Islam has a super hard fight that could go anyway with him and Taporia. No, you don't. You know Khabib would get slumped, bro. Hey, give me Georgian wrestling over Dagestan wrestling, bro. That's why I want to see Islam and Ilya fight a bunch too. I want to see the wrestling. But back to this fight. We'll get to that at the end. We got Curtis Campbell. He's gonna freaking beat the crap out of Danny Silva. He's gonna pick him apart. If he wants to knock him out, he'll knock him out. But I'm taking Curtis Campbell by flipping by murder. Next fight, we got a pretty big fight. We got a middleweight fight between Roman Dolidze and Christian Leroy Duncan. Roman Dolidze is 15-4 in his MMA career, with 265 dog and 3-2 in his last five. Red Christian Leroy Duncan, he is the 316 favorite, 3-2 in his last in his MMA career, and 4-1 in his last five. What we got, bro? Ooh, I agree with you, but at the same time, I don't. See, my heart says Roman Dolidze because I just feel like he's gonna pick apart CLD. But at the same time, CLD's got so much power in his hands. He's just gonna walk forward. I feel like he's just gonna slump Roman Dolidze. He is, but he always finds a way to lose. I feel like, and Roman Dolidze is already 37 years old. He's not looking the same. He kind of lost that step. He kind of lost that punch power, or not the power, but like he lost his punch. Man, he's not the same fighter as he was. And yeah, I think honestly CLD has a good shot at KOing him. But give me Christian Leroy Duncan by decision. Let's get straight to the point. But anyways, moving on to the next fight, we got a light heavyweight bout between Barney Ski and Austin Lane. Iwo Barneyski is 7-0 in his MMA career, the minus 400 favorite, and 5-0 in his last five. Compared to Austin Lane, the 300 dog, 13-7 in his MMA career, and 1-4 in his last five. I feel like this is opposite, very obvious who we're going here. We're going Iwo Burkowski, right? They're crazy, bro. You're going with this freaking bro. He's not the best fighter. I'm gonna believe it at that. I'm not gonna say nothing rude, but he's really like not. He ain't that good of a fighter, bro. This Kevin Gates looking ass, bro. I'm telling you, Barlinski is going to go in there and he is going to hurt Austin Lane. I'm just be surprised if we saw an Austin Lane stiff KO. Get him cut from the UFC. The only advantage I feel like Austin Lane has is that he's like 6'6", so he's gonna have 6 inches on Iwo Barlinski. Yeah, you know the taller they are, the harder they fall. And Austin Lane's going out. And Iwo Barlinski by KO. Oh, my apologies. I messed up the thing. My three pick parlay coming up right now. We got another one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. We got a welterweight bout between Michael Venom Page, 24-3 in his MMA career, the 195 dog or the 195 favorite, and 4-1 in his last five, going up against the young up and coming Sam Patterson, the 170 dog, 14-2 in his MMA career, 4-1 in his last five. Obviously, we're going Michael Page here. Michael Page, is coming off a big win at 185 against Jared Cannonier, where he just embarrassed him. And Michael Page is a dog. Yeah, Michael Page embarrassed him. His movement, foot style, I love that. I love that spinning elbow that he does. It's crazy. And I feel like I got Michael Page for my three pick parlay. Take Michael Page by KO and over through in the distance. Yeah, he'll find the KO in any rounds. Just take Michael Page by KO if you want to tell my parlay. Yeah, Michael Page is a dog. They're just feeding Sam Patterson too. Like I don't know why they're doing this to him. I would never take this fight if I was Sam Patterson. I'd rather fight somebody at the same skill level. But I mean, Patterson's a beast, but he did take a lot of damage in his last fight. He was very hittable. And when a fighter is very hittable and they fight Michael Page, it doesn't really turn out the best for them, I don't think. No, Michael Page, a dog. Michael Venom Page. He's a beast. His kicks, he has a lot of power. That's his thing. And his style is so like funky. It's hard to get down on him. Yeah, he like does all the like he does like his freaking like he'll hurt you really bad. He'll go like wobbly. He's over here like Michael Page, man. His style, I love it. One of my favorites. And for my next pick, we got a featherweight bout between the up and coming Luke Riley going up against Michael Asswell. Luke Riley is 12-0 in his MMA career, the 250 favorite, and 5-0 in his last five. Compared to Michael Asswell, he's the 210 dog, 11-3 in his MMA career, and 3-2 in his last five. We got Luke Riley Paddy Pimblett is actually in his camp and corner for most of his fights. He's one of the biggest fighters that from the great land of the UK. And give me Luke Riley also by KO to tell along my three pick parlay. No, Michael Asswell. Yeah, he's gonna sleep, bro. I mean, you seen this dude Luke Riley last time? Bro talk MMA. They were all doubting him just because he's super young, 26 years old, one of the youngest fighters in his division. You know, he doesn't even look like. I'm pretty sure Darren T or Ray Buck said Luke Riley don't even look like he used deodorant yet. But they were really wrong because Luke Riley fights like a killer, man. He don't look like a killer, but man, when he goes in there, he is such a beast. Yeah, I'm predicting like a first round KO by something crazy because Michael Ashwell, he's not the best fighter. He's not very athletic. He doesn't move around as much as Luke Riley does. He's also a little bit older. Actually, he's younger by a year. I got that wrong. That's my mistake, folks. He's young, but I mean, when you're fighting Luke Riley, it don't make you feel you're much younger than him. Yeah, so I got Luke Riley by KO to tell along my parlay. Who you got, bro? Word. Now we got a featherweight bout for the main event of the evening. Most likely the winner of this fight is guaranteed a title shot. I did hear some stuff with Gene Silva though getting the title shot before them, but I really doubt that. And I think Volkanovski would cream Gene Silva. But we got the undefeated Russian fighter. We got Movskar Evulov, 19-0, 260 favorite, 5-0 in his last five. Compared to Lerone, the Miracle Murphy, 220 dog, 17-0 in his MMA career, and 5-0 in his last five. This is honestly one of my most anticipated fights of the year. I think this is a fight that we've been needing to see for a long time now. Movskar Evulov, he's got some of the best wrestling in that division. We saw a little war he had with Aljamain Sterling. Lerone Murphy's coming off a huge knockout win over Aaron Pico at UFC 319. Drake Du Plessis versus Hamzat Chimaev. And I think Lerone Murphy's gonna get dominated, bro. For 5 rounds straight, Moscow Love's gonna make this fight boring. 'Cause, Lerone Murphy's takedown defense is horrible, bro. We've seen it against Aaron Pico, man. He was getting beat on the ground, so he eventually worked his way up due with mistakes with Aaron Pico. Yeah, I think Moscow if he really wanted to, if he gets the opportunity to get him out or even just like a good full guard or half guard, he gets up top, he can land some big shots. He's gonna end up knocking out Lerone Murphy on the ground. But no, Moscow, he's out. He's really good. I just don't like his haircut or like his fighting style. I don't think it's the greatest, and it's just not it's not my favorite. I do if Lerone Murphy wins, I will be super happy, and honestly I'd rather see a fight between Volkanovski and Lerone Murphy than a fight between Movsar Evloev and Volkanovski. And I think Lerone Murphy just got like a more funner style, or even like a Gene Silva would be fun to see against one of these guys or Volkanovski. But most likely, the winner of this fight will be Movsar Evloev by decision, which is who I'm going. I feel like he's just gonna dominate and beat the freaking brakes off Lerone Murphy. Sadly, Murphy's one of my favorite fighters. I think he's very good, but he ain't that good. He also hasn't really, no, he hasn't really beaten high contenders. I was looking at his record. His best win in his career so far is Josh Emmett. He hasn't fought in like a Diego Lopez. He hasn't fought in Movsar. He hasn't fought in Yair Rodriguez. I'd rather see him fight one of those guys, or even like a Brian Ortega. But Josh Emmett, he outstriked him. But Josh Emmett recently hasn't been on his A game, bro. He got like what knocked out in like 2 minutes in his last fight. Landed 2 strikes the whole time. Like he's not looking the same. Yeah, he's somewhat old. No, I think Moscow is gonna dominate, bro. It's not even gonna be fair. But what else you gotta say, man? What else you gotta say about this fight? Right, right. And our apologies for not everybody showing up to the show. We need to stay consistent on that. That is our fault. So we're sorry. We're super sorry to the fans, but we will for the future. We'll all get on a show together, and maybe tomorrow we might do a live watch party inside a restaurant somewhere. During the fights, so look forward to that. I'll be posting about it online. Make sure you go follow me at Cash the Money Monacan MMA on Instagram, bro. You want to tag your Instagram? Yeah, I believe it's Brian Cole 197. Brian Cole 197. What maybe 187. I think it was 97 though. Yeah, y'all can go follow us on Instagram, TikTok. I think that's really where we're on that. And YouTube. Go follow our personals. I'm Cash the Money Monacan on everything. Same with him. Look out for a live watch party tomorrow. If not, then you probably won't see nothing. But if you see on my Instagram story or TikTok, or even I'll post them on YouTube Shorts. 297, 297. And possibly we might be at a restaurant. You can pull up, say hi. We'll say what up to you. We'll get pictures. Do whatever. And we'll figure it out right now. Actually, right after we're done shooting this. But this has been another episode of Five Bloodline. I'm your co-host, Cash Money. The Mister Take Your Chinny Chin Chin. The paper taker, the chicle taker, Mister, 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 Mister. No more mics. I don't know. I didn't have something wrong with that off the top of my head. I just had to grab some. We got my co-host, and Rosendo or sorry, Rampage Row cannot make the episode this week, so I'll do his outro for him. Rampage Row, Mister Make the Money Grow, and we out. This has been a great episode. I think we broke down every fight pretty good. So we out.